Hi, I wanted to make this quick video to show E38 owners a quick and easy way to fix your stupid cheapo cup holder on these things. They always break, and the reason they break is because people put too big of cups in there, or even small cans. I'd say could probably break it because all it holds it is a cheap little chintzy piece of plastic. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but right here, well, maybe if I turn it sideways, there's a piece that sticks up right there, and it's supposed to extend the whole way down to the end to where this metal sticks out right here, this little ear. Now it's supposed to stick down to the end, and then it's supposed to hook on when you push it in. And what happens is these break off because they're so chintzy. And here I'm going to show you how to just, with paper clips, using paper clips, how to make an inexpensive, really cheap way to make this stay in that's stronger than the original way. So here we go. Alright, so first of all you're going to need as far as supplies is a paper clip and some epoxy. I'll show you that here. I've got some 5-minute epoxy. You don't want to go super quick because if you go with the quick drying stuff, it seems to not be as strong. I got a paper clip here. This one's about maybe 20 years old, so it's got a little funk on it. You need some needle nose pliers to bend the paper clip and some cutters to cut it to length. And before anybody yells at me about having this stuff on my hood, I'm being super careful. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you want to take your paper clip, and you probably only need one real long one. This is a pretty fat one, so you just want to straighten it out. So just make it as straight as you possibly can. Take all the bends out. Obviously you can do this by hand, most of you. Make it nice and straight. Okay. Now once you've made it straight, you just want to take some really fine tip needle nose pliers, and all you want to do is on the end of this you want to put a little kind of J-hook bend on it. Well, maybe a reverse J-hook. So I'm just going to put it in here just the width of the end. Maybe even a little less. And I'm just going to do a bend, 90-degree bend. So there you can see the 90-degree bend. I just wanted to focus on the hood, not on what I'm doing here. And then you take right beside that bend, and you make another tiny bend. And what you end up with is a little one of these. You have a little J-hook kind of thing. And actually this one's a little bit too deep. I should have made this bend a little shorter right here. But I've already made these. But I wanted to show you how to do this. And what we're going to do with this end, with this J-hook end, I don't know why it's not focusing in, is we're going to take, and there's little holes on this. So obviously this is what always comes out and messes up, and the tabs break off here. We've already gone over that. So what we need is we need to make some new tabs here. So what I'm doing is I'm using these two holes there and there. And I'm going to take this little J-hook, I'm going to stick it in the hole like that and latch it in there. I'm going to run it right down here and then make a little hook right here that will catch when I put it in there. And all we're going to do is use a little tiny bit, a couple little globs of epoxy right back here, so that way this will still be able to bend and flex to make it over those latches, and it should hold way tighter than what was even there. So let's move to, let me show you the ones that I made, and then you can just copy that. Okay, so I've showed you this, how we made the end on that. And here I'm going to show you the ones that I've already made. Here it's just a short little clip that I've made that long, and I have them bent a little bit. You'll see here, like this one will go into this hole like this, and it's going to go and fit right in that slot. Let's see if I can get a close up. It's going to go right to the end, right where the metal ear sticks out. So I've got it bent over Why is it not? There we go. There we go. So there's how I have it. It goes in there, and I'm going to put glue right along back in here and up in here, but not out at the end, because I still want the end to be able to move. And here's the other one, and it goes the same way, only on the other side. And I have it bent just a little bit to conform to the opening here. And there's a hook on each one, so you can see there how each one has a little hook on the end, and it's right where this ear is, where this little slot is. And I'm going to make sure these are sticking straight down when I glue them. That way when I push this into place, it's going to catch those hooks that are already in there and lock it into place. And you want to always make sure this stays in the middle when you put it in too. So I'm going to mix up my epoxy, and I'm going to put my epoxy here and here, like I said, and let it dry, and then we'll slide it in and see how it works. Alright, so for a quick recap before I glue this, what I did is I made a clip that's just the right length. I started off by bending the end, like I showed you here with this big long one. I just bent the end, and I started off with that, and I laid it in place, and then I pretty much cut it off right about here at the end of this little piece, and then I just bent that up right even with this edge and then trimmed it off. And I did that for both sides, and then I just basically worked with them and conformed them to fit in here just right, so they're nice and flat all through here. And then I made it go right along the edge here, and then bend in a little bit here, because it's going to have to be right in this area where it's at, you know, even with the end of this tang, and in this little groove here is where the clip in the car is. As long as you have this problem where this is what broke, these clips, this should fix it, as long as everything else is working properly. So I'm going to get some epoxy mixed up now. Just showed you how I got that all in there. The epoxy is just going to be to hold them in place. The epoxy is not going to actually have any bearing on the strength of this whole thing, because what's going to hold it when you have a heavy cup or something in there are these metal clips. So all the weight is going to be pulling on these, and we've got it looped into here, so you're going to have a lot of weight, and if you do really yank on it, this will just bend, you know, and then you could rebend it or make another one or whatever, what have you. But this is going to be the simplest way without taking everything in the car apart to fix this. So I'm going to get some epoxy mixed up and get this glued, and we'll put it in the car. Okay, I've put some tape around here, around the end, just to secure these in place while I glue them. And all we're going to do is we're going to take this epoxy, and we're going to put 2 equal parts on a piece of cardboard here. You got to be real careful with getting this on anything. And then you mix this up real nice, and then in 5 minutes it gets hard, but you can't really put it to use, I think they say, for about 2 hours. So we're going to mix this up real nice, just until it starts to turn clear. At first it'll turn kind of white, cloudy, then it'll turn clear again. So we've got a bunch on there. I got it all over my hands. And now all I'm going to do is be real careful and not get it everywhere. Just going to put it back here. See, I'm putting it back on the back part of it. I'm not going to put it on the part where it actually clips, because I want that piece of metal to move around some. So we get this all on here real good. I'm just going to go all the way even back to where I put it in. That way it doesn't move around and flex. And I'm going to put it all the way to the end of these plastic tabs. And all around the back of them too. And then we're going to have to let this dry. Probably for a couple hours. And then I'll put it in there and we'll see how it goes. Alright, well it seems like it's dry now. I'll show you what we have. Come on. Well, you can see here I've covered this whole area here with epoxy, all up in here, back in here. So that should hold them in place real well. But see, I didn't put any down here on these ends because we still want these to kind of like, let me see if I can get a good angle here. Well, you can't really see, but they're still slightly movable. So let's see how it works. See here. Let's see if I can give you a good view here. So here's where this part slides in. Now under here, I don't know how well you can see. See right there is the tab that we're going to hook it onto. You can barely see it with this lighting that I have here. See if I can see the other side any better. Yeah. See, there's the tab. So we just need to catch that tab with these little clips. Let's see if it happens. Okay, I went to try to put it in and it didn't quite work. It was catching like it should, but it wasn't pushing in, and I realized my one mistake was that here where I put the glue, right here, I wasn't careful and it kind of seeped over a little bit. And so I realized that where this plastic notch is on each side is kind of like a track where the top of this is squared off. This rides right in this groove here. And so I had to cut away some glue. So when you glue it, just make sure not to get it over in that area. See, I had to cut it off on both sides and just there. Make sure that that was a clear space for that track to run. And then also, I also noticed that where this catches, where that hook catches, it should be down a little tiny bit from this metal piece. It should be down some for it to properly catch. So I think I've got it now. Let's see how it works. Come on, focus. Okay, heard it catch. It's definitely not coming out. Let's make sure it goes in now. Nice. You might have to help it out a little bit. That last little part. None of mine have ever come out the whole way by themselves. But that seems pretty tight. I could definitely put a can of pop or a fast food cup in there. It's not coming off. And if I ever want to get it off again without breaking it, I'll just use a little hook like this and go down underneath here and unhook it from each side, you know, to pop it off. But that looks like it actually worked pretty good. Now, all I have to do is put my little cup holder pieces back on this section, and we should be good to go. Looks like it worked pretty good. Cool. Happy with that. Probably stronger than original. Bye.